Hey everybody, it's CJ Gustafson and welcome to Mostly Metrics. Are you ready to save money on tokens? I've had a ton of CFOs and FP&A folks come to me and say basically the same version of, I have no idea what I'm looking at when I get an Anthropic invoice, or it could be an OpenAI invoice. I just know that it's going up. It's going up a lot month over month. My friend texted me the other day, our Anthropic bill is up 40% month over month. This is the start of a 4-part series on managing your LLM token costs. Every part is on video with the source files and the final outputs you can run yourself. Today, we're going to start simple. One real Anthropic invoice in the usage export that breaks the spend down by model. By the end of this video, here are the 5 things you will be able to do. First, catch an old model that you're overpaying for. Second, tell when caching is off and costing you money. Third, move overnight work onto a cheaper rate. Fourth, match the right size model to the job. And fifth, read what you're actually paying versus list price. Okay, so you've probably seen one of these before. This is a made-up invoice from Anthropic, but it should look like basically the same. What we got here is one page telling us that we spent $61,655.50. What you'll see is 4 lines, and it breaks it down by the model. So Opus 4.8, Sonnet 4.6, Opus 4.1, Haiku 4.5. And so these are the different models, and they're all metered usage, right? This doesn't tell us much. The majority you can see is from the latest frontier model, Opus 4.8. So then what you'll have to do is go into your Claude console. So this is what you call the usage report. I'm just going to expand the columns. Gotta love metadata. It's got workspace ID, workspace name, API key, the model. So that ties out, I guess, there. The service tier, context window, uncached input tokens. This is interesting. Cache creation input tokens. And I'm not technical. I'm just kind of recognizing what some of these terms might mean. Cache read input tokens, output tokens, cost. All right. So rather than trying to hack something together with a pivot table, I'm going to attach both these files. And this is the first thing I always do with any vendor bill. I make sure that the detailed file adds up to the total on the invoice. If they don't match, I'm going to be reading the wrong numbers here. So here's the prompt I'm going to give it. You're my finance analyst. Attached are 2 June files, my Anthropic invoice and my usage export. First, confirm the usage file adds up to the invoice total. Then show me a table. Total spend, each job is a dollar amount and a % of the total, and the model and rate type each one uses. Sort by spend, highest first. Don't recommend anything yet. That last part's really key because I'm going to ask for the recommendations later. But first, I just want to get a lay of the land.
A few moments later.
All right, done. The usage file adds up to $61,655.50, matching the invoice exactly. Boom, step 1. Here's the bill job highest spent first. So something called production chat assistant. I think a lot of us had chat bots on our sites. Opus 4.8 standard real-time stats. Wow, so that's 62% of the total bill. It's on that chat bot. The chatbot's running on Opus 4.8, which is the highest model. RAG support bot, 6,541. Doc pipeline legacy summarizer. And you can see it has the model and then the rate type. Some of these are batched and overnight, which has to do with the caching, I believe. But once again, I'm not technical. 2 files agree. All right, let's keep rolling here. A bad habit that a lot of us have, and it's only human, is just to write something super lazy like, where am I wasting money on my bill? That is not a great prompt. I'm not going to get something very good back. In fact, I'm going to ask Claude to rewrite my own question. Before you answer, rewrite my question into a better one. I'm in finance, not engineering. I want specific places I'm overpaying for no reason, each one in dollars per month, each naming the job and the fix, so I can hand it to my engineering team. Give me the improved version first, then run it. This is what I call Claude on Claude crime. Here's the improved version. Using the attached June usage export, find every place I'm overpaying with no drop in quality. Check for 1, a job on an older model, and a newer one does the same work for less. Yeah, that's definitely what I want. A job resending the same large block of input on every call without caching it. That's another fault that happens a lot. A job that isn't time sensitive running on the standard rate instead of the cheaper batch rate. An expensive model doing simple high volume work a cheaper one could do. For each finding, give me the job name, its current monthly cost, the estimated cost after the fix, the monthly savings, in one plain sentence I can send to engineering. Sort by the savings largest first. This is also going to help us with the communication because we have to hand it off. As a finance person, I can't just go in and start pulling levers within our Claude console. All right, now it's running it. 4 places you're overpaying. All right, first, an old model that costs more than a new one. This summarizer job is still running on Opus 4.1. Anthropic has since put out a newer, better model that does the same summaries for a third of the price, and nobody switched it over. Switching it saves about 3 $1,000 a month. Wow. Finding number 2, paying full price to send the same text every time. This support bot attaches the same big block of reference material to every question. Anthropic lets you store text you reuse so you're not charged full price for it every time. That's called caching. And here it's off. Turn it on for the part that never changes, and it's about $2,300 a month. Okay. 3, nightly enrichment. We're paying real-time rates for an overnight job. It runs on the standard rate but isn't time sensitive. The batch rate is 50% off for identical output. Like, I would have never came up with this stuff on my own. And then 4th here, ticket classifier. Use a top tier model for a very simple task. So we've come up with $8,640 a month, or damn, we're reducing by 14%, which, like, if you annualize that, it's over $100K a year. And every one of these fixes is just a setting. It's not a downgrade to the performance we're getting. And this is a big relief because I don't need to know how any of this works under the hood. I just need to notice that 2 numbers don't seem to line up. So what's cool is those 4 findings came out of the 3 simple checks. And the reason to learn them is they work on any usage-based bill, which is awesome. It's not just Anthropic. It could be on Snowflake, Datadog, AWS. They all read the same way. I'm going to give it one more prompt here. Now, show me the method. 3 checks in the same file. 1, my actual average cost per million tokens versus Anthropic's list price by model so I can see how much I'm leaving on the table. 2, what share of my spend goes to each thing? Regular input, output, cache, text, batch. 3, how much of the total sits in my single biggest job? 1 short table and 1 plain sentence for each. Said in more plain terms, check 1 is what you're really paying versus the list price. If they're close, you haven't turned on any of the discounts. Check 2 is where the money goes, which points you at the fix. Check 3 is at 62% from the start. 1 job being most of your bill is fine, but as long as it's the product your customers pay for and you decided that on purpose. Check 1, will you actually pay per million tokens versus list price? That's not good. 7 out of every $10 is going to output, which is the expensive part. So the biggest lever isn't caching. It's shorter responses and cheaper models and the jobs that generate a lot of text. I kind of know what that means. Top 3 jobs are 81%. Okay. Now we have these findings. I don't really know how to go in and toggle stuff within the console. So I'm going to turn this into communication for my engineering team to take action on. Turn the 4 findings into 1 short Slack message to my head of engineering. Start with the total dollars per month and that none of these lower quality. Then list each fix with its job and its monthly savings. Keep it short and friendly. I'm asking, not blaming.
A few moments later.
Hey, blank, spent some time on our June Anthropic usage and found about $8,600 a month in savings. Boom. None of it lowers quality. All 4 settings, no trade-offs. And that's really the true output of all of this. It isn't a report, it's a message that someone can act on, right? What are the tactics that come out of this? I know that you can make this a monthly habit too, because one bill tells you what may have gone wrong last month, but it can't tell you if it's getting worse or if anybody fixed it. So the last thing I do is have Claude turn all of this into a short checklist I run every month. Write me a 5-line monthly checklist to run every month.
A few moments later.
Here it is. Old models, caching, overnight work at the fast rate, expensive model and a simple task, and 1 job eating the bill. And you can download this on mostlymetrics.com. I created one for you. So as a reminder, we went from this super vague invoice, this discombobulated workbook of usage meter data, 120 rows worth, to 5 observations of what is going wrong and a number of insights that you can take away back to your engineering team to reduce the cost of your Anthropic bill. Your numbers are in your own Anthropic console right now, not made up like mine, and the job names will be yours, so map them to your real features before you take anything to your team. And before you rip out an old model, ask engineering what it still depends on, right? Sometimes there's a reason they're using more expensive stuff. Usually, though, there isn't. Next time we do this, we're going to pull 3 months of bills side by side, which is where you catch the spend rising faster than the work may explain. That's it for today. The video, the files, and the checklist are all on mostlymetrics.com. Go read your bill. Peace.